I've sat down with everyone from Ted Nugent, former chief of counterintelligence for the KGB, Hezbollah, people who I disagree with on many, if not every, fundamental issue. But I have no expectation. I just find him personally objectionable. I don't think he likes food, and from people I know who have had to endure dinner with him, if you enjoy sitting there listening to him talk about himself, great, God bless you. And the man, he only eats steak well done. And if he knows how to use chopsticks, much less able to grasp them with those tiny little nubbins, I'd be shocked.
This is what Anthony Bourdain said when asked if he would sit down with Donald Trump. Much like he did with Barack Obama, of course, in his show Parts Unknown.
Look, I think if you travel as long as I have and as much as I have, and you meet as many people and spend time with them in countries that we're supposed to hate and who are supposed to hate us, when you see how similar and different, but mostly similar people are, particularly when sitting around the table, it makes it very, very hard to come back. When you see how the economies of the world are completely interdependent and interlocked, right, and the flow of money back and forth, it's hard to come back and not be horrified and dismayed by the willful ignorance of the kind of conversation we're having now, often by people who know better. Trump has, so much of his interests are rest abroad and are completely dependent on other countries. It's ludicrous for him to, on one hand, take this very xenophobic, protectionist point of view, and that would make it impossible for his businesses to continue.
And prior to his death, he spoke out on the current president numerous times on various shows.
A powerful reaction, one way or the other, is infinitely preferable to me than pleasing everybody. If I walk in a room where everybody agrees with me, I find that frightening and dismaying and boring as.
And if this does not speak to how opposite he is to Trump, think about who each of them surround themselves with.
There are many problems I have with Trump, but one of them is he just has non-credible hair. Okay, it's non-credible.
Can't trust that.
It requires more of us than I think is fair. Like if a person has a large, deformity, a giant mole on their face, right? You both sort of make a tacit agreement. I'm not going to stare, and you're not going to make me feel weird about the fact that I'm going to notice it now and again. It's too much with the hair. Every second that I'm not shrieking, what the is that thing on your head, is requiring more of me than any human should have to. Right. He looks like a cheddar cheese with this big puffy, horrible, heinous pink thing. Isn't there anyone in his life? He's a wealthy man. Yes. Is there no one in his life on the way out the door every day says, Mr. Trump, as your friend and closest associate, have you thought about,
just shaving it?
Just
anything.
Weird.
Like many, Bourdain despises what is on Trump's head, and also,
I scrupulously avoid an agenda as best I can. Clearly, I'm pissed off about some things, and I do have some issues that I feel very strongly about. Immigration. This is a personal thing to me. You work with, Mexicans and Central Americans for as many years and as intimately as I have. That's going to be an issue for me, and I'm going to use every opportunity to talk about it. But truthfully, I do not owe you journalistic truth as a viewer. I owe you only the truth about how I felt at the time, because I've understood, as much as I might think it's good for America to go to Vietnam or to Cuba or to Iran, or to walk in their shoes and to experience what I experienced in those places, that one is just as likely to feel that same way, that same empathy, that same sense of surprise and confusion of having all your preconceptions turned upside down in West Virginia, where I just was, which is the absolute heart of gun, God, and Trump country.
What is in Trump's heart and mind? Politically speaking, he would go further than just POTUS.
To what extent is food the best or maybe least biased glimpse into how a society, a country, an economy works?
Well, there's nothing more political. There's nothing more revealing of the real situation on the ground, whether a system works or not. I mean, whatever your philosophical, the foundation of your personal belief system, it's difficult to spend time in Cuba, particularly like 10 years ago, eat with ordinary people and come out of it thinking, wow, this system's really working out for everybody. Who gets to eat, who doesn't get to eat, what they're eating. I mean, the food itself on the plate is usually the end result of a very long and often very painful story. I mean, is there a lot of food preservation? Is there a lot of pickling? Certain countries, their cuisine very much reflects either a siege mentality or abundance or intermittent periods of difficulty. Also, people just, if you go in not as a journalist, but just as somebody who's asking simple questions like, what do you like to eat? What makes you happy? People tend to drop their defenses and tell you extraordinary things that they're very revealing.
Although I guarantee many will disagree, his answer on how food is political is eye-opening. In addition,
I was enormously grateful for the response from Palestinians in particular for doing what seemed to me an ordinary thing, something we do all the time, show regular people doing everyday things. The world has visited many terrible things on the Palestinian people, none more shameful than robbing them of their basic humanity. People are not statistics. That is all we attempted to show.
Here was Bourdain reflecting on his time in Gaza when filming an episode for CNN's Parts Unknown, which, to be clear, was unpopular at the time. This whole movement has really gained traction within the last few years, but him saying that was still unpopular. Him going where he went was unpopular. And even as the humanity of the Palestinians were shown, people hated it. There was backlash to it. And he showed his character. He showed his moral fiber because he did not care. The reality is the reality. He cannot lie. And as he said in that New Yorker interview and other interviews that I reviewed before putting this piece together, he said, I can only give you my truth and what I see and how I feel and a way of representing that. His writing was unmatched, his presentation was unmatched, his personality was unmatched. And as he said, he would have dinner, lunch, breakfast, what have you. He would sit down for meals with anybody, almost anybody, showing his wide array of using food as the medium in understanding. There will never be another show like this, let's be clear. And if you have the ability to obtain an HBO Max login, or you have one yourself and you haven't watched it, please do. Because this is truly, and this is not hyperbole, one of the greatest television shows of all time.